did it. It only worked for about I dropped the feed. I'm just on a walk. I did AT&T. Did my personal hotspot so we can broadcast.
Even not unlimited plans, sometimes your hotspot's not unlimited.
Well, my wife was looking at our, we have unlimited data through the thing, but she was like, "You're like, how many movies are you watching on your phone?" Like, because I don't, all of a sudden I was like, "No, I think it's because every 2 weeks I make my phone a hotspot so we can just together." That makes sense. So I was like, I'm not on my phone like they are. Well, they're Wi-Fi here, but because we broadcast on YouTube, we can't. The church Wi-Fi blocks YouTube. That's why I have to go on my hotspot. Anyway, I'll stand up so everyone can see. Brethren, make sure we're on time. Yeah, we're. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being here. We had a discussion this morning in one of our meetings about smiling, and sometimes we forget to smile at the temple, or we forget to smile at church. So I want you guys to know that I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for being here. We have a couple of announcements. Tomorrow we have a temple cleaning from 8 a.m. to noon. It's a Monday, so I know it's a little tougher. We already have a couple people that have committed, but we can always use more. So if you are available tomorrow from 8 a.m. to noon, show up at the temple to clean. We just have to have your recommend with you. But it's a really cool experience to be able to be in the building and doing some service. I know when I was serving a mission in South America, we got to, as missionaries, we got to go to the temple a few times to be able to clean. We had a rule that our mission rule was you could go to the temple once in the calendar year if you were in the capital where the temple was, because our assignment was to preach to the living and not to the dead. And so, that rule by going once a month to go clean the temple as our weekly service that we were supposed to do. So we got to be in the temple a little bit more by doing service. And so we got to get down and we actually got to clean the side of the baptismal font. And then he went up with one of the maintenance guys, and they were up at the top of the steeple where the Angel Moroni was. I don't think that he probably shouldn't have been up there, but it was a cool experience for him to be able to see that. So that is to say, cleaning the temple is a pretty cool experience. So if you're available tomorrow, 8 a.m. to noon, show up at the temple. More help is always needed. A couple of other announcements that Bishop already talked about, but I want to just kind of bring up again. At the end of the month, October 29th, we're doing our ward Halloween / trunk or treat. It's a Saturday night, 6:30 to 7:30. We're just keeping it real simple this year. Times, but it's a cool event. The next day, October 30th, it's a fifth Sunday, so we'll be with the Relief Society, and Brother Bates will be teaching that day. We are going to have a fire drill. The stake has asked us to kind of do a fire drill, all the wards in case there is an emergency. And so we're kind of telling everyone on the 30th, I think the plan is to actually pull the fire alarm to make it seem as real as possible. And then we're going to leave the kind of exit the building, and then we're going to go out, and our safe meeting spot is going to be the dumpster outside. Because it's far away, it's across the parking lot, far away from the building. And then like Brother Tufua said, we'll come back in. It's a fifth Sunday. We're going to do a linger longer. So you can just bring something to share that day and come on in. And then again, the last thing is for those who knew him, Brother Curtis Miller. I did not know him, but he did pass away a few weeks ago. So on October 31st, they're going to have funeral services for him. It's a Monday morning on the 31st. So it'll be 10 a.m. here at this building. As far as the quorum, I don't think we're going to have any setup assignments or anything, but if we do, we'll be contacting you. And then the last thing I had, two things. One of the parts of our discussion this morning in our meeting was how do we make our ward feel more inviting? and make people feel welcome. It's not a discussion we're going to have right now, but it's something that I wanted to bring up. That sometimes, people are visiting or they haven't been here for a while. They feel left out, or they feel unloved, or that nobody's paying attention to them. And so it's just something I want to be in the back of our minds of, as people come in, or as people, visit, that we pay attention to them. And not to put you on the, Jason Edwards, are you new to our area or ward? Or?
Yes, I'm actually
Okay.
long story short,
No, it's okay.
she received a big my work burned down at in Roy, and the doors just kept wide open there. The guys apparently where we're supposed to be, and right now I'm living with a family that they're not helping us. So I looked up what ward to go to. And
Perfect. I don't know how long we're going to have you, but welcome. Okay. Yeah, perfect. And Jason, right? Jason, welcome. This is our elders quorum, and thank you for being here.
What we will let you know, escort process and everything, and get things done there.
We're sorry to see you go, but okay.
I don't know about the other side.
We talked about that this morning. We know that you're usually on this door welcoming people in,
Well,
but
I
that
have
a
the
lot of times that
missionaries here, too.
door isn't. What'd you say?
I have you as missionaries, but
Mhm.
it's quite helpful for that too, because I cannot, say hi to them once after they've been.
And so those are those little things of when people come in. One of the things we talked about is being to our sacrament meeting early so that we can greet people. My wife and I, we've been married 17 years. We always come in 30 seconds before sacrament starts. That's just how our family rolls. We've never been early to an unfriendly ward. And it can happen. It's happened a lot. So not necessarily just this ward, but wards I've been into.
Missionary moments have come through that door after sacraments even began.
That's right, and I think that's people might come in late and they feel welcome them in. We always I used to tell people I'd rather have you there late than not at all. So definitely show up. So that's all I have. Just a reminder, Saturday mornings at 8:30, from 8:30 to 9:30, to clean the building. We don't expect people here every week, but at least once a month. Saturday mornings, we are working on breaking up the ward into sections to have an assigned week so that we can Saturday morning 8:30, 9:30 be here. No, we appreciate that, John.
Because after I said I'd do it, so I'll be honest about that first off. I first very similar to parables. Sometimes we also take off fast
Slow, because I'm a chicken.
and slow.
Well, I'm tricky too. So don't feel bad.
Because there was a phrase he used in that opening prayer that he basically praying that the second coming would come sooner, and it made me think of pulling off a Band-Aid quickly because of all the things that are prophesied to happen in the scriptures to a coming sooner based upon the righteous actions. And I've heard that we've been referred to partly being temple work, one of those, and missionary work both. But that being said, invited to a wedding, and wedding clothes were provided. You know, we are all given an opportunity at some point, and tools are there for us, and then, you know, and then we're asked to follow through. Do whether or not we dress in the wedding garment, whether or not we live, are one of the chosen ones that are saved by our Heavenly Father and earn the fullness of His God blessings. And this was rather poignant for me because the town branch was the town the branch was in. It covered 40 miles north, 30 or 40 miles east. Here we went every single Sunday, and it was, and then drove another hour home or more for some people. That's a long time to go without eating, you know. And after church, was against what my dad felt like was the right thing to do. And the branch had a good way of feeling. And then, you know, get out around noon. And
I lived in a branch that was so small, they called it a twig.
yeah, this would probably have qualified. And that branch actually, after I moved away from there, actually ended up closing, and they now have to drive about an hour to go. Part of, I think, why they kept that branch open as long as they did is one of the members there had MS. And after he passed is when they closed the branch. Because basically of those 8, himself and his mother who took care of him, that was 25% of the average attendance. Growing up was testimony meeting. So yeah, it was an interesting, but the spirit was still there. And over the years was, you know, we have to choose between what God has for us and what the world does. And to be honest, when it became easier to go to church, I went less often. Not full time at the time, but as you know, all we have to do is take the step further from where you're at when you approach it. When I read that parable and heard that talk, I took it differently than probably anyone else in the room did in a way. You know, is there anything anybody else remembers from that talk offhand that comes to mind? Is there anything you remember that?
Yeah, he that is not there is not worthy. And from parable, that man who refused to put on the garments, he was an act of rebellion. I remember, I mean, I just hated land instructions.
Go for it.
Basically, dude didn't want to put on some garments to go to a party, and he just had this. He just didn't want to put it on.
Yes.
So just building on that idea,
and the parable kind of talks about earlier doing the right thing, rebellious, or in a way that was, it wasn't that, he didn't have the clothes or that they were provided, he had it, he couldn't wear them, but he wanted to be.
He was asked first, did you not get a garment? As in, basically, did you not know you're supposed to wear it? No. No, I knew. I didn't want to wear it. Yes.
I wonder if he didn't put it on to be the center of attention.
I highlighted my phone was one of the parts of the explanation that Bernard gave was that he wanted the benefit of being in the wedding party without, I think we all have, but I've experienced that. I want God to bless me without doing the hard work. I want my job to give me a raise without me putting in the hard work first. I want my kids to respect me and just listen without me putting in the work to be a good dad. It's hard to be a good parent. It's hard to be a good employee. It's hard to be a disciple of Christ. It's really hard. Like, the steps are easy. The gospel itself is really simple, but the hard part is in the doing. And that line struck me of wanting the benefits of membership in the wedding party without doing the work and following the rules. And that's something that I've struggled with my whole life. I know what's true. I know that God will bless me if I do the things, but do I really want to be bothered to do the things?
Weeks ago, I actually had some time to rethink a lot of this because some of you may have heard Apple release a new phone a few weeks ago, and I was actually involved in a lot of the stuff getting ready for that. Since April, I've known one of the big changes and had to make sure it's and I was stressing over that big, and I realized I was stressing over the wrong things. So, I'm less over the gospel. But anyways, you had your hand?
That's one of the comments in the talk, is he says, from time to time, we need to reassess our priorities. And sometimes we have those things where something happens in our life and you say to yourself, I have had my ladder aimed against the wrong wall. Trying to find this ladder and realizing I get up there and it's like, oh, it's number one, some people don't have any priorities, they just kind of go with the flow. Number two, sometimes we realize that we need to make some adjustments. Yeah, that's one of the big things I got out of that.
Yeah, I just basically said I've done what I can. It'll either go well or it won't. It's gone as he didn't like it, or there was something about it he objected to. The fact
where things are present. The one thing I took away from that is, even though I would literally eat and I knew the neighbors, so I would just spend Thanksgiving. But looking at it now, and I have robbed myself from having a connection. It's not too much of a stretch. So when we don't partake of, But in that, you know, and it doesn't matter what we do, if you have really thought about those are situations.
Yeah.
So we all have that choice to go to the party and ultimately
Been home before with sick kids, or maybe one of your kids is kind of sick and they or they're kind of like, you know, like, your older kids faking it. And you're like, I just wasted 3 hours watching this game. For how long has it been since I've been to the temple? Like, you know, I work in Folsom. I could go on my, you know, I could take an extra long lunch and go do some, but like those are those things where I could participate. I could do that, but what, you know, what's holding me back? Well, it's just myself, right? Like it's said in there that